In this podcast, we're going to talk about the biggest marketing mistake business owners make. Welcome to Smart Marketers Pod, the podcast that brings you actionable marketing tips and strategies to take your small business to its best level yet. I'm Jane Baylor, serial entrepreneur and business growth exploder, and I'm joined by veteran digital marketer Andy Phillips, co-founder of the awesome online marketing platform Funnelcentrics. Welcome, Andy.
Hi, Jane. How you doing?
Yeah, good, thank you. So, mistakes. Isn't marketing all about mistakes?
Yes, it can be. It is one of those things that when a business owner gets into marketing their business, they realise there's lots of things going on. You can make loads of mistakes as you go in. One of the things I wanted to talk about in this specific podcast was I go out and do a lot of consultancy. I go to businesses. I've been to thousands of businesses over the years. I've been in this business a long time. And it's the sort of thing that we see sort of time and time again. And I really wanted to get people to understand that they can bypass this mistake by doing one specific thing. Now, the thing that we do when we go out and do the consultancy, we look at people's businesses, they look at the products, and they're normally in a position where they're about to launch something. They've spent their time building something, a product or a service, for their clients, and they think this is absolutely fantastic. It's a brilliant product. And when you look at them, they do look like good products, but they've tried to market them and they've struggled. And we look at the reasons why. And the primary reason is because they've taken this build it and they will come type of attitude toward it. And it's the wrong way of doing it. And one of the things that we tend to have to do is to take them back to the beginning and not completely destroy the product or service they've done, because they put a lot of work into it and it's basically in the right direction. But the thing that I want people to understand is that if you take a slightly different approach to the way you're doing this, before you actually start building products that are going to take you months sometimes to put together, a really good product that's going to get like a good return on investment if you can sell it. So, for instance, a high value product, a high ticket product, before you go into spending months building it, start think of it in a slightly different way before you do. And this is the mistake. Build it and they will come is the mistake. If you change your approach to this and look at who your client actually is, what that person is, and this is why we do customer profiling, which we're going to talk about on this podcast in a later edition. We're going to go into that in far more depth, but also look at the problems that your client is actually having right now. What are the real genuine problems they're having? And using your skill sets to create products that solve those problems. Now, it sounds sort of obvious that's the way to do it, but every time I go into consultancy, every time I sit with a client on a client call, we have exactly the same issue every single time. And so the one thing I wanted to try and get over to people straight away was have that attitude of finding out who your client is and doing customer profiling. As I say, we're going to be touching on that in another podcast. But customer profiling is just trying to find who your ideal customer is. We talk about avatars and things like that. And that's really what we're trying to do, is we're trying to find out who is your client. And you need to sit down and work that out. Understanding exactly. So, for instance, if you're doing yoga, and you've got a number of different classes, if you're focusing on women over 40 or business owners who are strapped for time, then you can create a really good customer profile. You know exactly what they are, but more importantly, from that customer profile, you can then work out or ask them what their number one problem is right now, and then create products and services that hit those problems. And it does save a tremendous amount of time. And it also means in reality that what's going to happen is that you're going to have a much better chance of selling that product, because let's face it, the whole reason for having a business is to bring in revenue from your skill sets. Most people have a incredible skill set, but build it and they will come tends to mean that they build something and then try and sell it, and it doesn't work. You've probably seen that yourself.
Yeah, I've seen it a lot, particularly with course creators. I've seen people go away and lock themselves in a room for 9 months and really slave over this amazing product that is really their baby. I mean, I've got an online course as well, and I know how much time and effort goes into it. And the problem with that is that if you're not engaging with your audience at the same time and actually getting their real-time feedback, very, very easy to go wrong. So what you're saying really resonates. I mean, I think a lot of people would say, "Well, Andy, that's all very well, but if I'm creating a new product, perhaps if I haven't got an existing audience, but I'm developing a product around my passion and it's a startup, how do I actually find my ideal client? How do I find out what they want?" I think a lot of people, they just don't really know how to do that and what the process is that they can adopt. So have you got any ideas for them?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, it's a great question as well, and again, it's one we come up against quite a lot when we're talking to people, specifically when people are new to marketing or new to a business. You know, they may have come out of work and started up an entrepreneurial business.
Yeah.
So where do you get that information from? And the easy answer to it, it's not always easy to do, but the easy answer, the simple answer to it is social media. uh, if you can start talking to people who are that type of ideal client, this is
Mhm.
where things like networking is really good to find out what their actual problems are. And but social media is a great place. I mean, you're fantastic at social media. You go out and
Oh,
you've
thank
got
you.
some great groups. Smart Connector Group is probably one of the best groups for this sort of thing anyway, because people do communicate, they do connect, they do engage a lot in your group. And
Mhm.
it's quite easy if you can start to build up some sort of social media presence in the background to just literally go and ask them what their number one problem is right now. And you see this quite often with people who've been doing this for a long, long time. Um, you'd think that the people who've been marketing their business for a while wouldn't need to ask that question, but it changes over time. It's like, for instance, when we went into lockdown with COVID,
Mhm.
people's priorities changed, people's needs changed. There was a lot of businesses that were uh, going out and, I've got a client that goes out and does property training, and they live in hotels. I mean, they do a lot of stuff in hotels that are training programs and that sort of thing once they actually sold something to someone. However, they have a networking event or a number of networking events around the country. And when that stopped, they needed to change the way they did business. So the very first question that that person asked was, "What's your number one problem right now? What problem do you need to solve right now?" And every single business that I know that is a successful business asks that question. You ask that question. I've seen you ask that question on your social media. What
Mhm.
problems are you having right now? What's your number one problem? And that's a fantastic way of doing it. You know, there's lots of ways of getting in contact with people who are your perfect client. So social media is a great way, networking is a great way. But if you've already started selling a few things, you could just go back to your clients and have discussions with them.
Mhm.
And this is the one approach that we do a lot. You know that we have funnel centrics, and funnel centrics is a specific type of program which hits a specific type of audience.
Mhm.
And because of that, we have a connection with those. So people will come on to funnel centrics. We'll often have, chats online with them. We've got a Zoom call on Fridays and things like that. And a question we ask a lot of times, so what is the problems you're having? And that dictates the products and services that we put in place. So,
Yeah.
for instance, we've got something called the one-page sales funnel formula, because we know that most new businesses really don't understand the concept of a sales funnel. So the obvious thing is, from all the questions we get asked, is how do I put a sales funnel together? What is a sales funnel? All those questions come to us through our social media. And what we did with the one-page sales funnel form is say, okay, this is a question that's coming up time and time again. Let's create something that shows people exactly how to create an ideal blueprint for their sales funnel. And because the questions were there, we put that into a product, which is a little training product with some videos, and then we gave it away. I mean, we didn't sell it as a product. We could have done it. In fact, one of the things I've done over the years is to do training in front of audiences, and this information is one that I used to sell. I used to go on stage and we used to do a 1 day program, which was the 1 page sales funnel, and we charged like £300 to get in the UK. But now we just give that away because it's not what we sell. This is information that is absolutely vital for everybody. If you understand, customer profiling, understand exactly what your clients want and how to implement that information into a small sales ecosystem, which brings people into your business, then you've got people who are interested in what you do. And that was vital for us. I mean, it's been transformational for a lot of people. And because they've gone on to that training program, it's just a short series of videos, about 5 videos, but
Yeah.
it encapsulates everything they need to do to create a blueprint of a sales funnel that's actually going to get them to reach their goal. And that
Mhm.
was vital for us. And we've had a lot of people take that up. And consequently, we get out of the back of that, we get a lot of questions, because as soon as you learn something, you go, but what if? So we get loads and loads of questions about that 1 page sales funnel, about how funnels work and what do I need to do next? What's my next step? And that's really the whole point of it. You suddenly realize there's other things that you need to do, and it starts opening your mind up. And that was the reason why we created the 1 page sales funnel in the first place. And we do give that away free, and we can put a link in below so people can actually get that and to start putting their blueprint together.
Awesome. Awesome. Now, do you think that people are just not used to reaching out and asking questions? Because I feel that a lot of people hide from online exposure, and I think it's a bit of a mindset thing. They're not used to it. We didn't grow up actually engaging with people online. So in my observation, a lot of people, they hide behind screens. They'll just be doing a lot of this stuff. They'll be spending time with their families. They'll not be wanting to engage with strangers. And I think that that is a challenge that a lot of newbie marketers or business owners have, is that they just don't want to do it. They don't want to go online. So any tips that you have, Andy, for actually getting out there and getting into the habit of engaging in a dialogue with your target customers?
Yeah, definitely. The If you think about it from a psychological position, and I'm a psychological marketer,
Yeah,
my business partner Josh is more of a technical marketer.
yeah,
So together we're really, really good together as a partnership. But I've been dealing with sort of marketing psychology for many, many years,
yeah,
and the problem is that if you're a business owner, you know everything about your product. If I was to ask uh, some of my clients, some of the business owners who are my clients already, uh, just to tell them a little bit about your business, they will rattle it off. I mean, they'll tell you everything they know. I mean, just all pour out,
yeah,
and that's fantastic. So you know about your business, but then you've got to sell your products and services, and now you've got to put a different hat on.
yeah,
And that's where the problem starts. It's a bit like,
yeah,
I don't do my own accounts. I have an accountant. I could do my accounts, but why would I? So people have an option. They can either go and do it themselves and take it all on board and put that marketer's hat on,
yeah,
or they can give it away and go and get a marketing agency to go and do it. And we've got lots of clients in our marketing agency. We have a marketing agency as well. And we have clients that don't have the time, or they don't want to do that skill set. They want to just focus on their own business. And that's absolutely fine. When you're starting up in business, you have to take that on. And so
yeah,
there is a process, there's a mindset you need to go through, and we'll talk about this in later podcasts as well, because this is what this podcast is about: is to try and help small businesses to become marketers and to make those decisions. What do I outsource? How do I do this? What do I need to do myself? But there is an easy way of just getting into the process of connection and engagement. Um, and I say it's simple, but it's not always easy because, as you said, there's a mindset thing going on here. Don't really want to go online. Don't really want to get on in front of camera. The truth of the matter is, if you have a business, you have to promote and sell your business. You have to promote yourself and advertise yourself.
Yeah,
That's part and parcel of running a business,
it is. It
whether
is.
you like it or not. It's and so you've got to get into a position where you feel comfortable. And don't forget, when you start doing things, your comfort zone starts expanding. So you need to sometimes step out of that comfort zone and do things that you probably wouldn't want to do, but you know it's going to be fantastic for your business. I mean, one of the key things is doing like videos.
Mhm.
Video marketing is not easy because you've got to get dressed up and well, there I am sitting in a hoodie and
What
a
are you talking
t-shirt,
about?
you know. But I'm very very comfortable in front of camera, and I don't really. But it's taken a while to get there. I mean, when I first started doing this, I wasn't comfortable in front of camera. I didn't like my voice. I didn't like the way I looked. Everybody hates themselves for some reason. The secret to this is that no one cares. The only thing they care about is, can you help them with their business or their bank balance or their lifestyle? That's all they care about. And you've got to remember this, that no one really cares about you. They only care about what you can deliver that's going to help them to achieve the things they want to achieve. So if you have a skill set and you can talk quite lucidly on camera, then go on camera. Do videos into your social media, but start building up social media and be consistent. Be consistent with people, and get on as many times as you possibly can. Answer questions, on other groups, because people do follow other people. If you've got something lucid to say, and relevant and resonates, then they'll click on your link and they'll start to say, who is this person? um, but you just need to get out there. It's not an easy thing to do, but if you're a business owner, it's one of the things that you have to do, unless you have a marketing team, unless you have a marketing director and things like that. But most small businesses don't have that. It's normally a person and a business. They may have a few people involved, and you could get other people to do it, but people want to see you. They want to see the humanity. They want to see, your real self. So this is why you need to talk from the heart. You can't talk from scripts. There's no point talking from a script. You just need to talk to your customers, resonate with them, just via you. So just get online, start talking about your solutions you do. The best way to do this is to talk about the actual solutions to problems.
Yeah.
Ask people what they're having problems with, and as soon as someone says, "I'm having problem with whatever it is," then go and talk about it for 5 minutes on a video and help them out and put it in there. You will find that people will love that, and they feel it's a really really good connection. They feel like they're getting to know you. And don't forget, what we're aiming for is to get people to know, like, and trust us. We've heard that trope a million times. If you read anything in marketing, any marketing books, watch any marketing videos, people always talk about know, like, and trust. But think about what that actually means. Getting people to know you is, uh, if people don't know you, for instance, they'll never buy anything from you. So they got to get to know you first. They got to get to like what you do, like what you say, understand that you're there to help them. And that builds into trust. If you go out and you start talking about this, I mean, I talk from front of rooms, and I get a lot of people coming to me afterwards and saying, that was really interesting. You said X. I want to talk a bit more about that. And you can see that in their eyes that they've begun to trust you.
Yes.
And the key to a lot of it for sustainability is to not betray that trust, to actually give a damn about your clients, give a damn about your audience, and genuinely go from a position of helping them. Now, the position of helping them could be a product that you sell, and this is really where it comes down to, the branding concept. It's about values. What do you value? Do you value your customers? Do you value your follow up? Do you want them to? Do you genuinely want to help people? And if you do, then you will have a successful business, as long as you don't make that first fundamental mistake of building something and then trying to sell it, rather than finding out what your clients need, what their problems genuinely are, and using your skill sets to solve those problems.
Yeah. Yeah, some great points there, Andy. And I think it's always okay to be a business owner and an introvert as well. But even introverts, they can still convey their own particular style, and they can still show up online and still maintain that kind of introverted sense of kind of identity, because we accept people whether they're throwing their arms around and kind of very animated and very out there, or whether they're more low key and perhaps more, maybe a little bit like Josh, bit more kind of technical. And we we're very accepting, really, aren't we, in the real world, of different types of people. And it's exactly the same online, isn't it?
It is. If you can genuinely solve people's problems, and
Mhm.
I know that you do this, I do this. We have had to build that concept over years. When I first started selling products, or I
Yeah.
started in marketing, or I actually started in sales, in the IT industry, and I was one of the top salespeople. I don't know how I got there because I started from scratch. I didn't know anything about computers. I was in the IT industry. I knew nothing about computers. But the secret, and I didn't realize it was a secret, but the secret to my success was when I got on phones to client, I just solved their problems. So delivery problems, problems with not knowing what product to buy and things like. I just solved problems. And
Yeah.
so I got on the phone and just chatted to my clients, and I was one of the top salespeople, and I didn't really realize how I got there. It was my manager that said, "You've got just got away with clients. You just help them out. And that's all it was. I just helped them solve their problems, and consequently, they bought from me because they knew me, they liked me, and they trusted my judgment. And that's really all it was. So I sort of fell into it, but that's all I do. That's what we do with Funnel Centrics. That's what you do with the Smart Connector Group and the products that you sell and the services you sell. You help people to get from where they are to where they want to be. And that's all people want. They want a solution to their problems. And if you can
Mhm.
provide that solution, then people are more than happy to pay for it. They're getting value for their money.
They are most definitely. Well, thank you, Andy. So the message that you're going to leave our viewers and listeners with today about solving their problem is,
Well, it's understanding your client
mhm,
first off,
yep,
solving the problems that they have, and
yep.
using your skill sets to solve those problems, and people will buy that.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Andy. This has been the Smart Marketers Pod. It's been absolutely fantastic to have you here, and look forward to the next episode with you.
See you next time.
Thanks for listening. We've got a free gift for you, which is the one-page sales funnel formula course, which we've sold in the past as a £300 live training. We love to serve and support you, so we thought this would be really helpful for you. Go to www.funnelcentrics.com/one page to get your